This video covers step number 6 of MedicalGPS's Service Improvement Program, Endeavor for Excellence, Start Where the Patient Starts. Specifically in this video, we'll be covering how to conduct quality assurance observations for your team members that work the receptionist area, front desk, or check-in. There are some prerequisites before conducting the observations. Those prerequisites include having your team members that work the front desk, receptionist area, or check-in review the 9 videos that you see listed below. These videos are short yet very powerful in terms of content and instructions on how to improve the patient encounter. You'll find links to the videos in the comments section below. After each of your team members that work the front desk, check-in, or receptionist area have reviewed the videos as previously mentioned, it's time then to have another team meeting. In this team meeting, you'll want to share with each team member a copy of the one-page observation QC checklist. That checklist will serve as a guide for you as you conduct the observation. You'll find a hyperlink in the comments section below that will allow you to download the PDF file which contains the one-page QC observation check sheet. Print copies enough so that each of your team members can have their personal copy, and then review the items on the check sheet during your team meeting. Get feedback from each of your team members regarding each of the interpersonal skills as listed on the check sheet. Each of these interpersonal skills were covered in some level of detail during the 9 videos previously mentioned. If you have team members in your team meeting that have not reviewed the videos, ask them to go back and review those 9 videos as soon as possible. The videos are short, usually 2 minutes or less in length. However, they contain very powerful content that will help each of your team members make the patient encounter as good as it can be. Now we'd like to offer some general instructions for you for conducting quality assurance observations and using the quality assurance checklist. While the checklist is self-explanatory in many ways, there may be some tips and techniques that we've learned over the years that we can share with you that will help you make your observations as good as they can be for your team members. Start by placing your team member's name at the top of the form, the date of the observation, and of course your name. Then, as you approach the work area, you want to place yourself in the work area so that you can discreetly observe the team member as they engage the patient. For example, if you're observing someone that works the check-in counter, as you approach the check-in area, move away from your team member about 10 or 12 feet and appear to be working on something totally different and apart from the team member. Place yourself close enough that you can overhear clearly the conversation between the team member and the patient, and close enough that you can occasionally glance over and observe your team member as they engage the patient. As you observe your team member engaging the patient, place a check marks or otherwise indicate yes as they engage each of those interpersonal skills that they've been trained to use. For any behaviors that are not demonstrated during the encounter, place a similar check mark or indication next to no so that you can review that interpersonal skill with your team member at a later date. Some interpersonal skills or techniques may not apply to every engagement. For example, item number 10 and item number 11 may not apply for general check-in. If that's the case, indicate an NA that they did not apply for this particular observation. After you've finished, tally the number of yeses that you observed during the observation. In this case, there were 9, and tally the number of opportunities to use those interpersonal skills. In this particular engagement, there were 9 as well. In this particular instance, this team member scored a 9 out of 9, or they had a perfect 100%. Soon after the observation has been completed, as soon as it's convenient for both you and your team member, meet with them in private and review the quality assurance checklist. Emphasize and take a positive approach. In most cases, your employees are really going to do an outstanding job, and now is your opportunity to congratulate them and do it in some level of detail. For example, if you remember how the team member used the patient's preferred name versus their last name, congratulate them for that detail. Congratulate them, and then for any of the interpersonal skills that they forgot to use or didn't have a chance to use, talk about ways that they might be able to incorporate them going forward. Using the interpersonal skills as described during the 9 training videos and as outlined on the quality assurance checklist ensures that your team members are making the patient engagement absolutely as good as it can be.